All right, everybody. It is still Launch Party 2022. Thank you so much, everybody, for everything. All the donations. We almost missed one, man. We almost missed one. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But hopefully it doesn't happen for a while. Thank you to everybody who's been donating. You know, if you're here to see Zem. You know, you're here to see Clocky. You know, consider donating to Save the Children. It's a really good cause. We are $260 away from our goal. And we have a whole day of programming tomorrow. So, tonight, Zem, Clock District, TGH. Really solid lineup. IMO. All day tomorrow. We have lots of fun stuff. The highway to the end tomorrow includes me and Crunchy Brown. Yeah. It involves Dayman. And the finale is Jake F. Some Numbers, our perennial closer, doing Resident Evil. And there's a really cool incentive. You're not going to want to miss that. I noticed that we've had some whales swimming in the water, some oilers. And they haven't been pulling the trigger, and I know why. They're saving it for the end. They're going to blow our doors off. So we have to do our part. We have to get to our goal. We have milestones after the goal. They're all really easy, really fun to hit, so we're going to want to get those. There's some really cool stuff in there. But without further ado, I am going to hand this off. Maybe I'm going to hand it off. We're getting some Zemi mans in the chat. That's what you love to see. All right, I am handing it off to CC, who is then eventually going to hand it off to me because schedule changes be damned. We decided we were going to host these shifts, these runs, and gosh darn it, these are the runs we were going to host. So I leave you in the ever-capable hands of my creative partner, CCNeverender. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. I have returned. Yes, like I said, we did have a little bit of a schedule mishap, but that's okay. We all wanted to cover the runs that we were going to cover, so it just made sense. Plus, I had something pop up, so I needed to take a quick break to step away. And CJ was like, you know what? Let's just keep it that way, right? So we are sticking with it. Hope y'all are doing well. Man, we just barely made that. I don't know if y'all noticed, but we got a donation like right at the buzzer beater for that last run. We still haven't missed an incentive. We still haven't missed one. Let's keep it going. No major incentives for the rest of today, although we have plenty of bid wars here. Plenty of bid wars. There is one for the Minish Cap that's going on tonight. And then we also have one for the Chameleon Twist incentive that's tomorrow morning. So you got a couple things you can still donate towards. Also, we have a bid war going on where you can donate to which speed dock video we do next. Sorry, I just finished eating my dinner. And so on that docket, we have Super Mario Galaxy, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Tony Hawk's Underground 2, and Chameleon Twist. So that's going to go on for the rest of the event, which goes on till tomorrow night. I know most of these events go on over the weekend. However, tomorrow is a holiday here in the US. It is Memorial Day, and we have the day off. So if you also have the day off and want to spend it with us, you can watch tomorrow all day, noon to midnight. So you don't want to miss what we got going on tomorrow night. We got a great show for you. Zem over here with the big challenge, 2,300 before the end of the run, and he'll drink water. Wow. If you want to see that, I mean, he's going to be on camera. You'll get to watch him literally drink water. That's crazy. Let's see if we can hit it. Speaking of which, Xem92 is up next. Let's not keep him waiting any longer. Let's go ahead and get things started. Stay tuned. We're going to do a quick commercial, and then we will be right into it with Ratchet and Clank All Gold Bolts by Xem92. All right, and we are here. You wanted it. You're getting it. It's Xem92, and he's drinking water.
Sorry. You know, you weren't supposed to see that. Hello there, everybody. I am going to warn you all in advance that this is going to be quite the run. I spent all day traveling. I literally just got home. I traveled to Chicago at 10 a.m., I left Chicago at 4 p.m. And so I've just been I'm a little woozy, but I see a lot of my regular suspects in the chat. If you don't know me, I am Zem. I play a lot of Ratchet and Clank, trying to make forays into other content, but we can have this conversation when we actually get into the run. It's a pleasure to be here. Love doing stuff for Speed Docs. Love supporting the cause. Save the children. You gotta save the children, guys. Come on.
Gotta save them.
You gotta save them. So without further ado, I'm going to hit the X button or the circle button, or whatever button it is, and then we're going to start this run, and then we can keep talking about whatever random crap we feel like talking about. So the run shall begin in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is Ratchet and Clank 1. You can tell because it's called Ratchet and Clank and not any other subtitle, I guess. What would you call that? Yes. Okay, so it's just Ratchet and Clank. This is the first Ratchet and Clank game ever released. It was released all the way back in 2002. Can you believe that was 20 years ago?
I know.
It's insane to think. Fun story. When my first exposure to this game was not when my parents bought it for me, like I imagine most kids got this game. It was when my brother got it for Christmas from my dad. And I was always so jealous. I was like, this game looks so cool, and I want to play it. And so when my brother moved to college, I was 10 years old. He's much older than me. When he moved to college, I stole his copy of the game.
Oh, wow.
So, and then the rest is history. So this category is all gold bolts, which means that we are going to start from a brand new file. we are going to collect all 40 secret gold bolts scattered all throughout the all throughout all the levels, all throughout all the worlds. And then we're going to beat the final boss, Chairman Drek. Sorry if that spoiled anything for anybody. I know you guys were I know, fully engaged with the plot. So yeah, we're going to be using a plethora of tricks. For example, I just did a trick called River Skip, which is, it's weird because you don't actually skip the river, you go inside the river. So really it should be called River Abuse? I don't know what you would call it. The point is, we're at the end of the planet, and so a funny thing about the Ratchet and Clank games is that the way that the game designers program these games, the ends of many of the planets are at the very, very beginning. They're like, you kind of make a big old loop, a big old circle, if you will, to put it into terminology of shapes. And usually, where you start, you make a big old circle, and then the end tends to be right where you started. So that's going to happen quite a few times, you're going to notice. But as of right now, we're currently on Kerwan. This is a planet that has one tricky thing in particular. We're actually going to be getting we're going to be getting our first 3 gold bolts, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know. There's a lot of gold bolts in a lot of different spots, and there's a lot of planets. Also, I'm going to warn you guys in advance as well. I've been playing a lot of Ratchet and Clank 2 Wrench only, and so I was about to pull out the Bomb Glove, which is, again, it's totally okay to use the Bomb Glove in this category. And I nearly had a panic attack because I was like, wait a minute, that's going to invalidate my run. And that's just not how that works. So anyway, we have the Helipack now. The Helipack is a very, very useful gadget. It allows us to essentially do all of our bread and butter movement options. So, as you can see, Clank was on our back, but we couldn't really do anything with him. Clank, of course, being the metal lunchbox, a.k.a. my best friend in the world. I already messed up one particular trick, but I'm going to show you guys what we do here. So we're going to build momentum, and the way that we do that is by not touching the analog stick as we continue to chain these long jumps over and over. These are called neutral long jumps. And you can see, you may have noticed if you have an astute eye, Ratchet is kind of like jerking in the air, like stuttering almost. I'm doing a technique called mid-air long jumps, which means I'm inputting a side flip, and then I'm canceling it into a long jump. And so, well, actually, more specifically, it would be like I'm canceling a side flip into a long jump to gain a lot of speed on the long jump, and then I cancel that long jump into another long jump. It's not as terribly complicated as I make it sound. But it is a lot of muscle memory. Really, these games come down to the fundamentals are kind of everything in these games. How good you are at being able to execute the bread and butter movement is how good you are going to be at playing the actual game. Now, this category has a very long and a rich history to it. And as a matter of fact, you saw me get my first gold bolt. We're about to get gold bolt number 2 right here. But yes, this category has a very, very rich history. I believe the first runs were done, we started keeping track of things sometime around 2012, I believe. I joined this community in 2014, so it's been a very long time now at this point. I did not run this game until, I want to say 2016. And I was one of the first people to really push this game, or this category down to, like, a more respectable, time, I suppose. A lot of it was just, like, people kind of leisurely running the category, not doing a whole lot here, but I'm actually going to explain one trick here real quick before I go back to talking about the history of this. I reloaded the game there to initiate a glitch called Jankpot. Now, the way this trick works, it's a very weird trick, and we're not 100% sure why this happens, but when I first played through this level, I blew up a helicopter with a wrench. Whenever you reload the level after blowing up that helicopter, you kill one dog, do not pick up its bolts, and then the next set of crates that you blow up will give you thousands upon thousands of bolts. So as you can see here, I just got 4,000 bolts, which if any of you have ever played this game before, you know that collecting bolts in this particular installment of Ratchet and Clank is excruciating. The bolt economy, I guess deflation would be, it was a very deflated economy. There weren't that many bolts to go around. And so 4,000 is a colossally high number to have this early on in the game. Normally you'd have somewhere around 1,000 singular. We don't know why that works. Well, maybe we do. I don't know. I don't really know that nerdy stuff. But I can tell you I know how the trick works, or at least how to do it, rather. And so we collect all these bolts, and we're going to need these bolts later on because Ratchet and Clank 1 is one of the only games in the entire series where you have to collect bolts and spend your bolts to buy coordinates for your next levels. Eventually, around the third installment of the series, Up Your Arsenal, they realized, hey, that's kind of a dumb game mechanic. We shouldn't really do that. But in this game, you need roughly, I want to say somewhere in the ballpark of 12,500, maybe 13,000 bolts if I'm miscounting. You need somewhere around that to be able to beat everything in the game. So we've already gotten our first 4,000 to be able to do that. And as you can see, I just skipped this entire level. You're supposed to, again, make a giant loop around the level. However, there's many levels such as this one, Eudora, where you just cut right to the end. And you can see me do that using a series of interesting tricks called slope intercepts. No, this is an algebra class. This is slope intercept is when whenever you perch Ratchet on top of a sloped surface, so like a slanted wall, for example, you have about a half-second window where Ratchet just kind of stands there. And if you input another high jump very carefully in that short window, you can do more jumps on that surface that you otherwise should not be able to do. So, oh yeah, also, we're not supposed to be at this far out of bounds. In case you couldn't tell, I'm kind of speed cheating a little bit. There's a lot to talk about in this game, so I'm going to be occasionally not remembering that you guys haven't seen a lot of this stuff and probably could use an explanation. So, you're not supposed to get this gold bolt like this. As a matter of fact, you're not supposed to be able to get this gold bolt for many more moons if you're playing this game casually, but we say no to that, and we do it our way. So, now I'm going to be using my mid-air long jump movement technology to try to chain my momentum as eloquently as possible here. So, my bomb count in the top left corner of the game, as you can see, it says 2 out of 40. That's something we got to really keep track of here. Bomb management, bolt management, and in some cases health management are very important resources. We don't have very many resources in this game to work with, so we gotta work with what we got. And as a matter of fact, I think I was supposed to throw a bomb there, but I'm not going to. Did I hit that cutscene? Yes, I did. You have to be very careful here. This is Planet Blarg. On that particular area, you see I activated 2 separate cutscenes. If I overlap those cutscenes too close together, the game just crashes. So I had to be very careful about how I was doing that. I normally wouldn't be so cautious, but it's a marathon, and nobody really wants to crash the game in the middle of a marathon run. That would be embarrassing. So, we're about to actually be done here on Blarg. I want to get to 4,000 bolts, which I'm currently at 3929. We're going to try to grab another 100 here off of these frogs. I don't know if you're a frog enthusiast, but if you are, I'm so sorry. We're about to kill all of them. And look at that. That gave me the perfect amount of bolts, 4,000 on the dot. You can't really ask for much more than that. So, I'm now going to go out of bounds here, and I'm going to do a mid-air long jump all the way over here, which is a totally different section of the level. I'm going to grab this infobot. It's going to give me the coordinates for Rilgar, and now I'm going to tell you about Cineflips. Now, I've already told you that you can cancel long jumps into long jumps and side flips into long jumps. At least, you know, I've mentioned that in passing. But there are certain surfaces in this game in which you are able to chain them infinitely. And the water on Rilgar is one of these examples. So, it's honestly, with that brief explanation, I honestly think it's better to leave it there, because if you haven't seen this before, it's better to just behold the majesty of this. This is a very difficult trick. Most runners can't do this, and I'm not perfect at it. So, I'm going to just focus up here for a second and try to my very darndest to hit this trick. Okay, first try. Not bad. So, once again, to explain what kind of happened there, I was chaining infinite side flips over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And you have to hit those inputs. I'm fluttering between R1 and R2 with my right hand, and I am rocking the left analog stick back and forth with my left hand. Textures are not loaded. This could be a little tricky. Give me a second here. And essentially, you kind of have to hit these inputs at about 13 or 14 inputs per second if you want to be absolutely optimal. I was probably somewhere around 12 inputs per second with my right hand, and roughly 7 or 8 with my left hand. It's a bit of a balancing act. But like I said, it's very, very difficult. I am the self-proclaimed goat of that trick. We always have a giant pissing contests in the Ratchet and Clank community where people love to say that no, I'm the best at this trick. And so I like to say that I'm the best at that particular trick, but some people dispute that. I'm certainly not the best at this particular trick because you just saw me mess it up, but we are going to use this lamppost to get over here. And in case it's not obvious, we're basically just going out of bounds over and over and over. None of this is intended. This is kind of the magic of Ratchet and Clank. There's just, I mean, walls are just suggestions in this game, you know? So we're just picking up gold bolts all the while. We're trying to get them wherever we can. And like I said, I know there's a lot of stuff kind of happening at once, but this is kind of the way that this game works, is that as soon as you're done with one gauntlet of tricks, you move right on to the next one. Jumping back, actually, I need to jump forward for a second. The next planet we're visiting is called Umbris, and this uses a technique similar to Cineflips called infinite long jumps. Cineflips, you chain side flips together infinitely. Infinite long jumps, well, you can kind of figure it out based on the name. You're chaining long jumps together over and over. And you're going to see what that looks like in a second here. It's just going to look like Ratchet's just going to vibrate in the air over and over. And I'm just going to move faster and faster towards these different areas. So, for example, like that's a very brief infinite long jump. And hold on, give me 1 second here. I need to break these crates. I need about, I would like to have about 400 bolts right now. I've got 250. That's a little on the low side. So we're going to break these crates. These are the backup crates. There aren't that many bolts there. I think it's like 60 bolts usually on average in that stack of crates. And yes, we do know the values for all the different bolt stacks. That we actually had a runner in the community once upon a time who made it his mission in the community to data mine all of the crate sets. I'm not even kidding. He went through almost every single stack of crates in the entire game to try to optimize this category. His name was Janky Lad, or Yankee Lad, if you... Oh, hold on, I have to... Well, it's a little dicey. Am I going to die here? I am going to die here. That's a very punishing death. But that being said, Yankee Lad is an OG. And he shows up in the community from time to time just to say hi to everybody, but mostly he just lives in a cabin in Norway. He's just living his best life. I believe he's Norwegian at the very least. I could be wrong about that. I'm American. Listen, we don't really do geography. But anyway, like I was saying, this category has a very rich history. And I'm going to attempt to do a very tricky infinite long jump series right here. This could also mess me up, but if I hit this, I'm going to feel like a cool kid. All right, I'm currently hitting it, so I already feel much, much cooler. And there's the boss of this level, and we're just going to ignore him. And yes, oh, also I forgot to mention, while we're doing these infinite long jumps, the reason why I drop Ratchet into the mud there and pull him out with a swing shot, it activates a glitch called Ghost Ratchet. This is actually a developer-approved strat. If you throw yourself into a death surface, such as that mud that you saw, but you can manage to pull yourself out with a swing shot or some other way, you maintain a death state, which allows you to pass through walls, although you still manage to not pass through floors, which is very convenient. But like we said, or like, I mean, I don't know who the we is. Like I said before, I meant the royal we, obviously.
I said it too. You didn't hear me, but I was...
yeah. CC was saying that under his breath. It, like, you couldn't hear it, but, you know, he knows these games inside and out. Actually, that's... I said that sarcastically, but that's not exactly false. You had to learn quite a bit about these games over the last few years.
I have learned quite a bit about them, yes.
But yeah, I'm sorry I'm kind of chatting. I feel like I should be giving you a word here, edgewise, but there's just a lot to talk about early on.
Hey, listen, you keep going. It's all good.
Anyway, here, I gotta hit this chain real quick as well. Battalia is a very tricky planet. So I ran this category primarily around 2016, 2017, I want to say. It was like late 2016 into early 2017. When I started, the world record was somewhere around 1 hour, 20 minutes. I worked the world record all the way down to 1 hour, 2 minutes, 35 seconds. And then I basically stopped kind of playing this game altogether. I played the other Ratchet games. I'm more known for my efforts in Ratchets 2 and 3, and occasionally in some other Ratchet games as well. By and large, I didn't really run this game all that much, and it was kind of, the easiest way of putting it, it was like kind of a mark of shame against my legacy, I guess. At least that's how I kind of view it. Many people would probably say I'm just over-exaggerating, but that's kind of how it feels in my heart of hearts, you know? But a lot of people would say that, like, oh yeah, Zem, he's really good at Ratchets 2 and 3, but he's terrible at Ratchet 1. And so this past year, well, not this past, like, calendar year, but throughout 2022, I kind of made it my goal. I have a mission called the Bot Project, and people meme about the Bot Project all the time because I've said I was going to do it quite a lot of times in my life. But basically the goal of it is that I want to get to world record level in every single Ratchet game over the course of the next year and a half, 2 years. It's very challenging, especially because as somebody whose full-time job is content creation, it's not always easy to be able to invest time into games that I know aren't exactly popular, which unfortunately is a lot of the Ratchet games. But we take one step forward when we can, and that's kind of what I'm doing this year, or the last few months. I spent a whole heck of a lot of time getting much, much better at this game. When I first came back to this category with my time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 35 seconds, I was 20th place, I believe. 20th place, so 19 people had surpassed me in this category. Now there's only one. I'm in second place right now. I've had to work very hard for that, and I'm very proud of the work that I've done. But of course the job is not finished yet. My PB is 51 minutes 3 seconds. The world record is 49 minutes 40 something seconds. Why can't I remember this off the top of my head? Anyway, the point is I'm a little over a minute off of the world record now, and it's actually quite nice. There's a lot of other runners this year who have come back to this category, and we've all been kind of challenging each other and pushing each other to do a little bit better. I'd like to give one particular big shout out to Sneepy. As much as I hate him with every fiber of my being, he's unfortunately one of my best friends in the speedrunning community.
Poor Sneepy.
Poor Sneepy. Oh, by the way, this is Clank Clip. Wait a minute, what am I doing? Where's it? Hold on. Sorry. I kind of did something I wasn't supposed to do. There we go. Old bad muscle memory just kicked in for a second there. Marathon runs, you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, yeah, that's Clank Clip. We just clip through that tree, and then we launch ourselves up with a proxy. And proxy, of course, P-R-O-X-Y. That's not just a term, that's an acronym. What is it? It's something, practical redistribution of X-axis movement into Y-axis movement. So in other words, you were going forward, now you're going up. So that's what we did. We used Clank's punching velocity to launch ourselves upwards. Don't know why it works, but it works. But yeah, so Sneepy and I, if I'm remembering correctly, are second and third place in this category. We did not start out the year as second and third place, but we've been working very hard. I am currently taking a bit of a break from this category because I ran it for a while. But I also have to do some other marathon prep. You know how it is. Did I just skip a checkpoint that I was supposed to grab? I'm not 100% sure. The point is, I'm picking up all these bolts, and I would like to be at about 1,100 bolts, which I'm exactly at, which is very, very nice. So now I'm going to do this very cool movement chain over to this area that you're not supposed to go to, and utilize the property of the lava to preserve my momentum and bounce over to here, and then I'm going to grab this gold bolt. That's a very tough movement chain. I'm glad I hit it first try, especially on as little practice as I've had today. And so, what was I saying? Yeah, so Stevie and I, we actually just found out, not to be plugging other marathons or anything like that, but we're very happy about it. We both got in. We're going to be racing this category at ESA, so I unfortunately have to actually follow through on my promises of getting world record in this category and, you know, keep getting better at the category or something dumb like that. I don't know. We'll figure that part out later. But yeah, so we're picking up lots of gold bolts. I think we're like, at this point, nearly halfway through the actual like casual portion of the game. Like, there's a lot of backtracking where we use the gadgets that we have to go pick up bolts that we skipped the first time around. But, you know, again, we'll focus on that later. We're like around halfway through where the casual lineup of planets is. Now we're going to Pokitaru, a very infamous planet because of the guy. And, I mean, he's just the guy. What can you say? CC, to give you a chance to get a word in edgewise here, tell me about your experiences with the guy.
Hey! That's, I've seen that clip 1,000 times from watching all the runs. Oh, you just saw him? Oh, there you go. Okay.
There you go. Hey! He's, canonically, within the confines of the game here, the guy is the resort owner. So this is Kawaii Resort, or I'm sorry, not Kawaii. That's a term for being cute. Jowai Resort. Pokitaru. So he is the resort owner, and it is his job to, you know, guide us through this area. But he's kind of doing a bit of a bad job, and we're more so guiding him through here because there's been an infestation of these like fish. And so we basically have to do what we can to protect him and get to the end. It's like an escort mission. I don't really know why there's an escort mission in this game. But, you know, escort missions were kind of popular back then. Not Guitar Hero, oh my goodness. Grand Theft Auto. Quite the difference.
Guitar Hero with all of its escorts.
Yeah, dude, you know. Dude, you have to escort Tom Morello to his eventual death. Not in, like in real life, but like, you know, just in the arena of rock, you know.
That's right.
Everybody remembers the Tom Morello battle from Guitar Hero 3. But yeah, anyway, the point being, I don't know, there was surely an escort mission or two in Grand Theft Auto, and that kind of influenced the entire landscape of how everyone made games for a long time. As a matter of fact, Jak and Daxter 2, a game very closely related to this game, and I believe the most recent Speed Doc, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct.
Jak and Daxter 2, in many ways, has been referred to as Grand Theft Auto Light, in so much that you get to drive around the city and kill people. It's kind of awesome. Good game. Not my favorite. I still gave it a 6 out of 10. Casually, as a speed game, it's actually really, really dope. But casually, I'd say Jak 3 is the real bee's knees. I've gotten some people who got real mad at me for saying that, so I wanted to say it again in case it pissed off anybody else. What are the terms? I believe it's cope, and what's the other one? Sieve? So, yeah, you know. So now we're going to be, and actually I should say there's a trick that I'm doing here to collect a lot of bolts. It's called Jank Fish. Before we had Jank Pot, named after Janky Lad. Now we have Jank Fish, and as a matter of fact, Janky Lad also, what in the hell? Are you kidding me? No. Get away from me. Okay, sorry, hold on. There's a very weird thing just happened there. These fish normally only give you a certain amount of bolts, but if you hit them with the wrench, for whatever reason, it overloads them with bolts, and they just get juiced out, and they give you hundreds upon hundreds of bolts. It's not as potent as Jank Pot was at the beginning of the game, but it's still quite nice. You know, we really make up a deficit. Ideally, I'd be at 3,300 bolts. I think because of that one little Jankfish error that happened. Yeah, I'm about 100 bolts off from where I want to be. That's not really that big of a deal. I'll just pick up another stack of crates somewhere. Not the biggest deal in the world. We'll make those up. But ideally, I'd like to hit this little momentum clip into the resort. One of the buildings in the resort. Also, I'm at 1 health, so I should be a little careful here. Otherwise, I'll have to redo this entire level all over again, and I really don't want that. And I know you guys don't want that either, so let me do this properly. Okay, there we go. I clipped into the shop properly, which saves me a little bit of time. And now we're going to finish up this level by doing everybody's favorite thing in the world, forced ship fights. You know, I know you were all thinking deep down in your hearts, you're like, man, I really wish there were more sections of the game where you're forced to get into a ship and blow up things. And well, I'm here to tell you that your prayers have been answered. So we're going to do this fight. We just have to blow up all these little things. I kind of messed up a little bit. This wasn't totally optimal, but don't tell anybody I said that. If anybody asks, this was absolutely perfect and there were no mistakes at all. So I said that there are revisits, and revisits there will be. we're about to head back to Orxon, the area that... Oh, actually, I'm going to grab these bolts right here. This might make up the 100. No, that didn't really make up the 100. But it did give me some bombs, and that's pretty nice. We're about to go back to Orxon, which is the planet that we were playing as Clank. It's also the only time in the entire game that we play as Clank, so if you didn't appreciate it before, you're not going to get another chance to appreciate it. Sorry, that's just life. But this time we have the O2 mask, which is really nice, which means we get to go out into its toxic atmosphere with Ratchet. And now we get to move around and do cool stuff. So I'll show you what one of these cool stuffs look like. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab these Magna boots. I'm ideally going to get up here. Perfect. Oh, no, never mind. I'm going to bonk and fall right off. That's lovely. Let me try that again. There we go. Ledge grab up here for safety. There we go. Okay, so then we get to keep our momentum over here. And now we're totally out of bounds. And we're just going to grab this gold bolt from way outside of the realm of possibility, if you were. Or as... What is the expression?
As you will?
As you will. Why did I brain fart that hard? Anyway.
As you were?
As I was. So now we're going to continue with the rest of Orxon 2. We're going to do a strat called Tiptoes. You're not supposed to be able to do this, in case you couldn't tell. This isn't developer intended, but we don't really care what the developers think, if I'm being honest with you. Listen, they're a bunch of boomers. We don't really care what they have to say about the way we play the game. So every now and then we're going to be doing these tiptoes across surfaces that we're not supposed to be able to do them on. They're a little complicated. They're actually a little counterintuitive. Normally in this game you have to input a lot of very precise, like, analog stick inputs over and over to get to where you want to go. The reason why tiptoes can be a little tricky for a lot of runners is that you actually have to not hit any input on the analog stick. You have to stay totally neutral. You can only press the X button. And so we're going to glide up here, and now we're going to do a really fun movement chain to get the gold bolt. So here we go. We're going to ideally... Nope, we're not going to double jump SI, yeah, we're not going to SI here just yet. This is a little tricky. There we go. So now we're on top of this little roof. I'm going to swap packs over to the helipack, and I'm going to do 2 mid-air long jumps, and then land right on the gold bolt. You know how it be. But yeah, CC, let me ask you again, because I still want to get you involved here. I feel like I'm hogging 100% of the time and space here. What is your favorite planet in Ratchet & Clank 1?
Oh, that's tough. Since I haven't done speedruns of it, I've only played it casually. And I actually could not beat it. I made it all the way to the last planet, and I could not make it through the final gauntlet. So,
really?
I just got frustrated, and I put it down.
Hey, it's a bit of it's a tricky planet. There's a lot of enemies and random crap that you have to navigate.
Yeah, if I had to pick one, I would probably pick maybe Kerwin.
Okay.
Kerwin's a nice one.
That tends to be a lot of people's favorite, mostly because of the music. Everybody remembers. It's actually like every game has an iconic track, like a piece of the OST. Ratchet & Clank, like literally everybody who's ever played Ratchet & Clank remembers the OST for Kerwin. It's just like one of those classic tracks that, like, you may not remember it off the top of your head, but when you hear it, you're like, I know that one. Oh wait, I don't want to do this. I want to die here. A little bit of my muscle memory is also a bit crisscrossed because there was recently a randomizer created for Ratchet & Clank, and I will say this: I was of the firm opinion before the Ratchet & Clank randomizer was created that the worst randomizer in speedrunning is all of them. And after playing randomizer for about a month, I still have that opinion.
Man.
No, it has nothing to do with the actual mod itself. It's just that randomizers in general, while they are very cool in regards to the level of like knowledge and execution that you need to do sometimes to make stuff happen, randomizers in general, like, they feel a little gimmicky sometimes. And I still think as a, not for nothing, I want to give credit where credit is due. Boardplate, he is a member of the Ratchet & Clank community who basically single-handedly created the randomizer. Wow. He created all the logic, and he like figured out all of the coding and everything like that. Like, certainly one of the big brain mega minds that we have in the community. We have way too many. I don't know how we got so many smart people in the community. But I think we have our fair share of memers to make up for it, myself included. So I don't know how he did it, but he managed to program logic into the randomizer that is so airtight that I think I've maybe, of like the, I want to say 30 randomizers that I've done, I've soft locked on one of them. And it was because of a random glitch that was not supposed to happen that he patched out almost immediately afterwards. So it's just very, very well done. And even though I'm not the biggest randomizer fan, it kind of lost its luster for me after a little bit. I still have to give so much credit to Boardplate. I mean, he's doing so much good work moving the modding community forward for Ratchet and Clank. Shoutouts as well to the other people in the modding side of things, the other like tech geeks. For example, Izaki, Myth. Oops, I messed up that movement chain. And I died, and now I look like an idiot. Everyone laugh at me. It's okay, I won't mind. So Myth, Boardplate, Izaki, username. I feel like there's people I'm forgetting. Maybe Creep. I think Creep was involved with some modding stuff. So there's just a lot of people who are very, very intelligent in this community, and they express their intelligence in some of the most creative ways I've seen. And this movement chain, I'm not just messing it up for fun, or I'm not inting for content. It's just a very hard movement chain to hit. And I am a little rusty on it, admittedly. A little bit too much Rack 2 practice instead of Rack 1 practice. But ain't that just the way? You know, you gotta still be able to do it on the fly. Do it on command. Show the world why you're great. Hello. Just like that. We hit it. Sorry, I had to like hype myself up there a little bit. Sometimes, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Super Smash Brothers streamers or content creators. There is one of the biggest streamers in Super Smash Brothers. His name is Hungrybox. He is literally a one-man hype machine. I have never seen anybody on Twitch who loves himself as much as Hungrybox does. And so he hypes up literally every single thing he ever does, and I'm trying to channel my inner Hungrybox right now.
Right.
All I
We're
need
making wonton right now.
Making wonton, yeah. All I need to really do is just scream as loudly as possible into the microphone and deafen everybody, and then pass out. And then I'll really be making wonton.
That's peak HBox right
That
there.
really
he literally
was.
popped off so hard he passed out.
So yeah, I'm actually going to be going now. Now that we're done with that movement chain, which was a very tricky movement chain, as you saw, I died on it twice. We're now going to be doing the hardest trick in the entire run. I don't even know if I have enough bolts for it, though. I forgot to get extra bolts. We're going to hope and pray that we have enough. Thoughts and prayers all around for me and my bolt count. Please and thank you. So we're going to do a trick here called Magna Walk, where we walk on this wall that we're not supposed to be able to walk on. That's not the hard part, and as a matter of fact, that's probably the easiest part of the entire trick. I want to get to roughly 800 or 900 bolts here. I would like to get to 900. I'll feel 100% safe if I do. Okay, 880 could work. We're going to see here. I don't know. This is a bit risky, but we're going to try this anyway. So we're gonna do another Magna Walk right up here. We're going to walk right up here. And then, so I'm going to try this trick one time and one time only, because it is excruciatingly difficult. There's only few people in the entire community who can pull this trick off, let alone do it on command in a marathon setting. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see if this is called beam jump. I believe this was discovered by one tabloid, if I'm remembering correctly. So we line ourselves up here. I side flip and swing. That wasn't quite right. The angle has to be absolutely precise. There we go. There we go. Come on. Come on. All right. That's the hard part over, but I can still choke this. So I got to line up right here and do a fat double jump. Come on. And then if I have under 1,000, this might not even work. Okay. We got the beam jump. We actually hit it. First try. That's kind of amazing. All right, hold on. Please get me to 1,000 bolts. Please. Okay, good. Yeah! Oh, wait, am I allowed to swear? It's okay if I'm not. I gotta do the hungry box. Yes! Fucking fuck! That's the classic hungry box. Sorry, those are my 2 swears that I'll have all run, I promise. I try to keep my runs PG when possible, but you gotta pop off when you gotta pop off, gamers. I'm sorry. Right. So now we're just gonna do a little bit of backtracking now that we've done beam jump to go collect the gold bolts that we dodged. And the reason why we do beam jump is to skip this whole ice section. It's like a 2-minute ice section. If you do beam jump absolutely perfectly, it saves in the ballpark of 40 seconds. Some runners say 30 seconds. I think those runners are idiots, and I say 50 seconds. So it's somewhere in the middle, probably. So we're just going to call it an even 40 and call it a day. Regardless, it's a very, very hard trick, and it's absolutely necessary at the top levels of the game. It's actually one of the tricks that is going to ideally help me dethrone Franz if or when I actually do it. But like I said, I'd rather act than talk these days. I feel like I've done a lot of talking in my life, and I'm ready to do more and more action. And speaking of action, we're going to go get the rest of these gold bolts. Here's number 3 in Old Tanis, and now we're going to get number 4. So, and again, in case it's not obvious... Oh, actually, I should talk about the PDA here. We picked up the PDA, and that's actually where we ended up when we finished Beam Jump. We went over to Captain Quark... sorry, I misspoke for a second. Steve McQuark. That is... if you don't know, on the previous planet, casually you're supposed to do the Captain Quark boss fight. You find out that he was, shocker, a bad guy all along. And so we pilot a ship and beat him up. And make him cry and take his lunch money. And he crashes on this planet. He's presumably dead. And then, of course, he's totally fine because he's absolutely indestructible for some reason. And he sells us the PDA. He's on the straight and narrow. He's working for Gadgetron now. He sold us the Gadgetron PDA. The intended use of the Gadgetron PDA is to be able to purchase ammo whenever you're in the middle of combat. Normally, you can only do that. Let me remember to go to Novalis really quickly. Now we're going to begin the backtracking, but normally the PDA allows us to buy ammo while we're in the middle of combat. We normally need to do that at vendors, which are strategically placed throughout the levels. You can only buy ammo at vendors until you get the PDA, and then once you get the PDA, you can buy ammo at an upcharge of, I think, 5 times the normal price. What we use the PDA for is far more sinister. We use it to speedrun, which is quite possibly the most evil thing you can do with it. So, what we do with the PDA is we use it to store our momentum. You're going to see me doing a lot of momentum storage with it. And it's going to make sure, it's going to allow me to gain tons and tons of speed in very confined areas, which you normally can't do, obviously, because, you know, if you're long jumping, you kind of have to complete the long jump before you do another long jump. However, if you get the speed of the long jump that you started and then cut off that long jump somehow, you can just immediately gain more speed with another long jump. So, I'm going to show you guys, not here just quite yet, but we can also use the PDA for other reasons. Like, for example, I'm canceling my state in the middle of the air, and I'm using it to do infinite side flips upwards. So, like, you're not supposed to be able to do this. I don't know if you guys were aware of that, but defying the laws of physics is not usually... like an integral game feature aside from double jumping, which is for some reason considered normal in video games. I'm not really 100% sure why. I blame... Who's to blame for that?
I blame Obama.
I also blame Obama, dude. I mean, like, who else could we possibly blame here? So now, actually, you're going to see me store momentum right here. So, like, I'm doing mid-air long jump, canceling with the PDA, and now I'm building all this speed. I'm going to keep it through this water slide, and watch this. Boom. We're going to go flying. Look how fast we're going right now. I'm going to keep the speed going with the PDA. Once again, we're going to preserve that speed. We don't just build speed with it, we can also preserve speed. So I'm going to glide using the PDA. And then I'm going to go all the way out of bounds over here and collect the final gold bolt of the level. And then... I
totally forgot we have an Obama emote. I'm so sorry. Speed Dogs of ammo.
I'm starting to think that you might be a paid actor. What's really going on here, CC?
Well, I'll never tell.
So now we're gonna go to Quartu. So actually, I said we were backtracking. Now we're already done backtracking. We're gonna go on to Quartu now, and ideally we need 2,500 bolts by the end of the game. We're at 200 right now, and like I said, you don't really collect bolts very easily in this game. But I actually activated a trick while you guys weren't paying attention. Oops. What was I just doing? Hold on, I have an idea what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
A trick while we weren't looking.
Hold on, I gotta save myself from dying here. Okay. I activated a trick while you guys weren't paying attention. It's called Bolt Party. I'm not kidding. That's the actual name of the trick. When I finished Ultanis, the level where I got the PDA and I had to do beam jump, for whatever reason, if you go to Novalis and then come here, there's going to be an explosion that happens in this next area of the game. And it's going to give me like 1,500 bolts for no reason. Maybe even more than that. I actually don't remember the exact values for Bolt Party. But you're going to see, like, pay attention to the top right corner where my bolt tracker is. You're going to see it go from 200 to, like, way more than 200 in a half second here. So it's going to keep going up and up and up as the bolts keep snapping to me. The bolts were having a party in the arena, and I crashed the party. So now I have 1,200 bolts. I just gained 1,000 bolts for no reason. And so you're probably wondering, well, where do you get the rest of the bolts? It's actually right here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. That's what I meant to do. This is a mandatory Clank fight for this category. We cannot skip this because this fight gives us the coordinates for Kalibo 3, which is a planet that we collect 2 gold bolts on. But this whole arena fight is just one big area to farm bolts. So I'm looking down here to reduce lag. And I'm just going to be firing bombs. I already memorized the patterns of where all the enemies are, so I'm just going to be turning Clank to kill where the enemies as they spawn. And that's kind of it. You just kill the waves of enemies over and over. I actually got a really cool glitch that allows me to kill enemies with just one hit of the missiles. As far as I'm aware, it's a random glitch. We don't know why it works, but you just saw that giant robot just explode in front of me in like 1 second. Which is really nice. And as you can see, I'm already at 2,300 bolts. We're almost at the magic number of 2,500. Once I kill a few more helicopters, and every single time I do this area of the game, I always think of that stupid helicopter meme. You guys know the one that's like, helicopter, helicopter. You know that one. I just think of that one every single time. So it went off in my head, and I figured I'd plague all of you with that knowledge as well.
Let me know when I have time for a donation, by the way.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot that that's like a thing you have to do. Please, by all means, feel free to interrupt me.
We got 2, by the way. Got a $3 donation from Anonymous with no comment and no incentive put towards. So don't forget, when you donate, you can put that towards incentives. We have a bunch of stuff going on.
Chad behavior.
And we also have another one for $10 from Rupek.
Okay.
Roopek.
Oh, I know who Roop is. What are you doing, Roop? Good to see you.
Hey, there we go. So thank you very much. No comment on that one or incentives for that one, but that's okay. We'll figure out a way to put that towards something. So thank you for your generosity.
Yes.
To both of you.
And I'll since I've already been talking so much, I might as well already say, guys, once again, that this is going to a great cause. Save the children. Not to get too topical, but if, I feel like in this day and age, the children need as much love as they can possibly get. So
Absolutely.
It's a great cause, and I'm really happy to be a part of this and spreading the good word of speed while also doing it for good reasons. But yeah, so we're just collecting bolts now. This is pretty much just bolt pickup, or like a bolt, like we're just getting everything that we possibly can. I just did cineflips once again. That was actually almost the cleanest I've ever done that. If I had channeled my momentum or continued my momentum properly, that would have been super sick. But this is probably, most runners of this category would say this is probably their favorite level because there's just a bunch of cool movement. For example, these cineflips that I'm about to do right here. And unfortunately, so we have a spreadsheet in the community called the Community Sum of Bests, the ComSobs, if you will. And unfortunately, Sneepy, the person I mentioned before, who I hate and love so dearly, He has the community sum of best for this particular planet, and it makes me angry every time I think about it. So, shout outs to Sneepy once again. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a terrible day. So, yeah, we're done with Iridia. Now we're going to... Oh, God, we have Drex Fleet. Okay, I nearly forgot about Drex Fleet. Hooray! So Drex Fleet is a notorious run ender. It is very, very, very obnoxious. It has... this particular section right here is hard. It's just hard. I'm going to let it speak for itself really quick. I should probably focus up on this. CC, if you want to take over the mic for a second and say anything that you feel in your heart of hearts, feel free to do so.
Absolutely. I'm really glad that we're putting on the show. I'm glad that Zem is here to do a great job and promote the stream. We also got another $3 donation from Lavender. It says, nice feet, smile.
Shut up.
But they put that towards an incentive, though. Chameleon Twist upgrade to an all levels race. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, unfortunately, so here's a fun little fact. So I said at the beginning of all this that I spent the day out in Chicago. What I did not mention is that I currently have a stress fracture in my foot. So, fun fact, so we've all taken up some various pandemic hobbies. By the way, I hit the hardest section relatively cleanly. It wasn't super fast, but it was good enough. But we're not out of the woods here yet. This is still a little tricky, and I'm pretty bad at this particular spot in Fleet. But anyway, it turns out, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but when you exercise, a few things happen to your body. So I think most people tend to know that when you exercise, your muscles, they tear, right? Like, that's not news to anybody. Your muscles tear and you consume protein, and it helps your muscles build back up even stronger than they were previously. A lot of people know that. What a lot of people, including myself, did not know is that you need even more time for your bone tissue to repair. Your bone tissue also tears when you exercise, and it takes really long to build back up because, well, it's bone. Which I don't think really surprises much of anybody, that bones take longer to heal than muscles. I did not know this, and coming out of the pandemic at the end of 2021, I had to do a lot of soul searching, and one of the things that I did while I was in the midst of soul searching was replacing my horrible hobbies I had developed to cope with the pandemic with positive hobbies. And so, not to get too real with anybody, but I grew an emotional dependency on marijuana, which I'm currently, I can say right now I'm currently a few weeks clean after relapsing just a little bit. But I'm clean. I only plan on doing it socially. I'm going to do it at GDQ, and then that's about it. But aside from that, I've been replacing my habits of smoking weed and lazing around and eating crappy food with cooking for myself, exercising, and I actually went a little too hard with my exercise. I started exercising 5 days a week, and I've never been an athlete. So I don't know, again, how many of you are aware of this, but when you go from being a lazy sack of crap to being somebody who exercises 5 days a week, your bone structure, your skeleton, it needs a lot of time and love and rest to simply repair itself. And so a lot of times when you first start working out, you're encouraged to really only do it like a few days a week. But when you go as absolutely bananas as I did and go 5 days a week, you're going to put a lot of stress on your bones. And so what ended up happening was I put way too much stress on my foot, and I ended up, like, after I went for a run one day, I was like, why does my foot hurt? And I didn't really understand it. Like, I didn't drop anything on it. I didn't remember, like, doing anything that, like, hurt it. It wasn't even leg day on that particular day. I was just going for, like, an after-workout jog. And the next day I woke up, I was walking on it, and... Oh, by the way, this is the fat cock room. For obvious reasons. Because I'm just surrounded by fat cocks. Anyway, for obvious, and let me just make sure I have all the gold bullets. Okay, 37, that's the exact right number. By the way, we were at the very last planet here on Velden 2. So Quo wanted me to shout that out so So that quote could be aware of when to stop the timer. I'll be saying when we're going to be done with the final boss, don't you worry. But yeah, so right now I'm currently in the process of healing my foot, and it kind of makes me a little sad because I was really looking forward to being at an in-person Games Done Quick again. It's the first in-person Games Done Quick in a long time, and you know, I wanted to have the brand new xem92 beach bod. You know, I wanted to be ready for the pool. I wanted to try to seduce the ladies, but now I have to spend the next month sitting and eating crappy food and barely cooking for myself because I have to rest my foot as often as possible. So it makes me a little sad, but, you know, I'm going to be trying to eat as reliably as I can and not fall back into old habits. But I mostly wanted to just say all that, not to really, I don't know, make anybody feel any kind of way or give me any sort of pity or anything like that. I said that mostly to remind you guys that it's never too late to replace your terrible habits with good ones. I think a lot of people, they lose hope, and they say to themselves, "Oh well, you know, it's okay. I'm not who I want to be today, but I have tomorrow. I'll just start changing tomorrow." If you keep putting it off to tomorrow, it'll never change. It doesn't. I'm sorry. You gotta be willing to change yourself here and now. Similarly, I would like to change where Ratchet's position is. Okay, so yeah, guys, it's never too late to start making positive changes for yourselves. It's never too late to pursue the things that you love. And just remember that while you're making these changes, give yourself a little bit of grace. You don't have to go 5 days. If you go all in, you go 5 days a week, you'll probably end up a little bit injured like I am. It's okay to take your time, you know? Time is the most precious resource in the world, and we have more of it than we think we do. So, while it is important to start today instead of putting it off until tomorrow, remember that baby steps are also important. So, we're coming up to the last section. I've gotten all 40 gold bolts now, and I've barely explained anything in the game. So, if you were looking for any explanations for this game, I'm sorry, but you're not getting them. We're going to the final boss now. I got one last little movement chain to hit here. I gotta make sure I don't spawn Drek in, otherwise I have to do the entire fight. I'm trying to skip a few phases of this fight really quickly, so I went around the checkpoint barrier. Don't die here. Okay, good. And now I'm gonna go to the final area of the game here. We're gonna go to the final boss fight. In the NG Plus version, or category of this game, which if you have yet to see the Ratchet and Clank 1 New Game Plus World Record Progression, I really recommend doing that by none other than Speed Docs. Really watch that because it's a very well done video that catalogs a lot of history in our community. In that category, we actually skip the final boss fight. We have a way to deload Drek and just end the game. We can't do that in this category because that requires file manipulation. So we're going to beat Drek the old-fashioned way by cheating. So I'm playing this on a PlayStation 3. And actually the big reason why we played this on PlayStation 3 originally is because of this boss fight. So as you can see, I'm using the Pyrocitor. And even though the Pyrocitor is one of the first weapons you get in the entire game, it is absolutely shredding his health bar. Because if you play on a PAL PS3 version of the game and play in HD, it damages him on every frame, and time is coming up in 3, 2, 1, time! Anyway, I bum rushed through that explanation. I got a D-Rust 54. I'm more than content with that. I was worried I was going to get overestimate. Which, did I even give you guys an estimate? An hour. An hour.
It was an hour.
Yeah, I was worried I was going to go overestimate. I'll take a 54. That's a very solid run for how little I've been able to play this weekend.
Very solid. Very solid.
So, just wanted to say, of course, in my last moments that I have you all here as a captive audience, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this run. And remember that what Speed Docs is doing here today, not just today, but in general, of course, what they're doing here today is amazing by raising money for Save the Children. But I think it's also important to continue supporting speedrunning in all shapes and sizes, because I think Speed Docs, what they do is incredibly valuable to this community. And I think there's always room in this world for more history of speed games, more ways to stoke people's curiosities and show them why we all love speedrunning so much. So thank you for having me today, CC. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that I basically talked for 98% of this, but I hope that you all had a great time.
Yes. Thank you so much for those kind words, by the way. Not to drone on too long, but yeah, history is so important, you know? So we love history. We love speedrunning. We like supporting it in all ways. We do videos about different communities. We run this charity event to showcase runs live and stuff like that. So we're always trying to promote speedrunning in the best way. So, but thank you for your contributions here.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but y'all in the chat, don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we will be back with even more speedruns. Stay tuned.
Bye, everybody.